Arsenal Fan TV America, welcome back. Another episode, a new episode here from the Pacific Northwest, USA. Listen, it wasn't a great day for our second day Champions League, Tuesday. I'm going to be honest with you. We're going to talk about our game, of course, but today we're going to talk also about each and every game that was played, score-wise, and we're going to talk about where everyone else ended up in their respective groups. Matches are played on Tuesday and Wednesday. So match day 1 was played 2 weeks ago, the week before last. And then this is match day 2 and it's played on Tuesday and Wednesday. So we're going to go to groups right away. And we're going to tell you what was the results in each and every game for each and every group. So let's start by Group A. And as we all know, we can see Group A has Bayern Munich, Galatasaray, has Copenhagen and Manchester United. Galatasaray played Copenhagen, the match day 1. Match day 2, Galatasaray were playing Manchester United. That was a must-watch. Again, Manchester United still struggling. You know, there's history between Man United and Galatasaray. I'm not going to go into it, but this game has a lot of history behind it. Anyways, it ended up Galatasaray winning 3-2 at Manchester United. Problem after problem after problem for Erik ten Hag and the historic Man United. Of course, it's a historic club. You know how many times they won the league. But, you know, I got to be honest with you. Since Alex Ferguson left that club, it's been going down and still going down. Family owners versus fans. Or, you know, the fans don't like the owners. The players are not happy. Some of them are not happy with the coach. So it's on all cylinders. Bad news for Manchester United. And they lost to Galatasaray at the Theatre of Dream, Man United field. Second game, we were talking about Bayern Munich plays Copenhagen. That game was played in Denmark, in Copenhagen, and Bayern Munich were able to come back and win 2-1. Very good watch. Jamal Musiala was the one that put Bayern Munich at the end because he's very, very persistent. He didn't want to not score. He kept going back at them. And of course, Bayern, with all, you know, the power they have players-wise, helped them to get that win. After what? After Copenhagen had, you know, they were 1-up. They scored first. And then Bayern Munich came back, to win 2-1. And now after these two games, we see Bayern Munich sitting on top with 6 points. Galatasaray is second with 4 points after, again, their famous one against Man United. And Copenhagen 1 point from that draw first day, and then Man United have 0 because they have 0. They lost both games, and again, they have lots of problems. Let's go to Group B. As we all know, Arsenal is in this very group with Sevilla, Lens, and PSV Eindhoven. Unfortunately, let's talk about Arsenal real quick. Let's just get that out of the way. We will come back and discuss Arsenal in depth after we go through all groups. But unfortunately, Arsenal had their first loss on their first away game to Lens in France. They traveled to play in France, and Lens were not easy on the day. They didn't let go, and they were able to clinch a win versus the Gunners. Sad to see, Gunners. We should not have lost this game. Of course, we will discuss that at the end of the episode. But Arsenal lost to Lens in France. That's one of the games. And the other game was PSV played with Sevilla, and they both came up with a draw. Let's now go to the group. Arsenal would be okay still as the second for the group. Why? Because now Lens, after one draw, their first game, and a second game they won against Arsenal. So now they have 4 points. They're top of the group. Arsenal have 1 win, 1 loss, unfortunately. And by the way, so that's the first loss for Arsenal Football Club in all the competitions. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But we go forward. Now we're second with 3 points. Sevilla is third with 2 points and 1 point for PSV Eindhoven. Next, we play Sevilla. So hopefully we win this game because we're gonna really need it. I can't tell you more than that. We play Sevilla in Spain. That's on match day 3, which will be October 24. Let's go to Group C. Real Madrid, Union Berlin, Napoli, and of course, Braga. And hey, listen, we all know that Napoli and Real Madrid are the strongest two in this group. But we get to see them now play each other's, and what a game that was. To me, it was match of the day, match day 3 on both days. What a game it was. Great football, and I enjoyed watching it very much. You should watch that game. Real Madrid was able to come back and beat Napoli in Italy, which is pretty difficult. That's, Carlo Ancelotti, Real Madrid, that's his old playground. He used to coach Napoli at some point. Anyways, Mr. Ancelotti goes back to Italy and grabbed a win at their own turf. I mean, Napoli were flying at some point that you would think they had the game. Real Madrid were flying at some point. You think they had the game. But at the end of the day, it's just the quality that Real Madrid possess on and off the pitch is what made the difference in the scoreline. And they grabbed the one against Napoli. That put Real Madrid as the top of the group now with 6 points, 2 wins, 3 points for Napoli. Now they have 1 win, 1 loss. In the second game, Union Berlin took on Braga in Germany. Union Berlin home ground, and they lost 2-3 to Braga. So now Braga is sitting third with 3 points, and number 4 is Union Berlin with 0 points. Next, we go to Group D: Real Sociedad, Inter Milan, Salzburg, and Benfica. Let's talk about the 2 games. So Inter Milan played Benfica. Inter won 1-0 at the San Siro in Italy. Second game was Salzburg playing Real Sociedad, and Real Sociedad continue to win. Kieran Tierney's team continues to impress. They beat Salzburg in Germany 2-0. Now here's how the group looks like. Real Sociedad has 4 points. They're number 1. Number 2 is Inter Milan with 4 points, tied with Real Sociedad. But of course, Real Sociedad has a goal more than Inter. That's why they're first, Inter is second. But again, same points. Salzburg is third with 3 points and 0 for Benfica. That was Group D for you. So next we go to Group E. And as you know, Atletico Madrid, Celtic, Feyenoord, and Lazio are the 4 clubs in that group. Match day 2 for Group E. Atletico Madrid played Feyenoord. What a game that was. That was one of the good games too. And Feyenoord was really hanging on. I thought they're going to come back at the end, but Atletico Madrid were lucky enough on the day to keep a 3-2 win versus the Netherlands giant that was really there for blood. They really looked like they're going to win that game. In Spain, they played at Atletico Madrid's ground. The other game was Celtic playing Lazio at Celtic home ground also, and Celtic lost 1-2 to Lazio. Listen, that's one of the games that I really didn't predict for that to happen. Celtic is they've been always strong at Celtic Park. It's just a place that no team wants to visit because of the electric atmosphere that the Celtic fans always create. So it was a surprise for me that they lose to Lazio, and Lazio beat them that day 2-1. Let's go to the Group E and now see how they rank. Atletico Madrid now has 4 points, tied with Lazio second place with 4 points. Feyenoord has 3 and Celtic has 0. Now we go to Group F. That, as you all know, the group of death, or the strongest group in this group stages. Newcastle, Paris Saint-Germain, Milan, and Borussia Dortmund. Of course, the surprise of this go-around wasn't Arsenal losing. No, it was PSG losing to Newcastle. The French giants took Kylian Mbappe, Dembele, and company and traveled to St. James's Park. That's Newcastle's home ground. As we all know, Newcastle were very strong last year, and they're beginning again strong this year, showing everyone how Eddie Howe has transformed this club without a whole lot of superstars and without spending a whole lot of money. They were able to beat Paris Saint-Germain 4-1. And what a game that was. It's a debate between Real Madrid and Napoli, PSG today, and Newcastle. Which one takes the best game of the 2 days? But you need to watch both if you have time. That was a great game, and again, Mbappe could not score. He couldn't help his team today. Dembele tried, but PSG was just outplayed. Let's just put it this way. And Newcastle came up with a big win. The other game was Milan-Dortmund, and it was played in Dortmund in Germany. Milan, of course, grabbed a point because it would be better for Milan than it would be for Dortmund, that should have won on their turf. So that game ended 0-0, and both Milan and Dortmund now sitting at the bottom of the group. So let's see the group right now. Newcastle United sitting number 1 with 4 points. Paris Saint-Germain number 2 with 3 points. They have 1 win, 1 loss. Third is AC Milan with 2 points out of 2 draws. And Borussia Dortmund is the last in this group with 1 point, which is a draw last week, or last match day out. Next, we go to Group G, that has, of course, last year's champion Manchester City. They took on Leipzig. Manchester City and Leipzig has Crvena Zvezda and Young Boys in that very group joining them. Those two played, and was 2-2. The second game, of course, was Manchester City taking on Leipzig in Germany, and City were able to get a win after the 2 back-to-back losses they have for the league, for the domestic League Cup and the domestic Premier League, of course, or the domestic league. City now won against Leipzig, and that, of course, puts them on top of the group. And that's how the Group G looks like after match day 2's result. Man City sits on top after 2 wins, of course, with 6 points. Leipzig has 3 points. Young Boys 1, and Crvena Zvezda 1 point. Let's go to the final group, which is Group H. As you know, of course, this group has Barcelona, FC Porto, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Antwerp. Antwerp took out Shakhtar Donetsk at Antwerp's home field, but Shakhtar Donetsk were able to secure a 1-3-2 over the host. Second game was FC Porto Barcelona. It was playing at FC Porto's stadium in Portugal, and Barcelona were able to grab a 1-0 win. After match day 2's results, let's see where everyone ended up in this group, Group H. Barcelona, as you can see, sits on top with 6 points. FC Porto second with 3 points. Shakhtar Donetsk is third with 3 points, tied with Porto. And Antwerp is last, fourth in this very group with 0 points, no win. So that was how everyone ended up in their groups. And this is how all the games finished match day 2. Let's now talk about the most important game for us here at Arsenal Football Club, or Arsenal Fan TV. That's why we're here, is for Arsenal. So Arsenal for us is the most important game no matter what. And unfortunately, we lost in France. Why did we lose? Plenty of reasons. Now, the biggest loss for me wasn't the game. It's losing Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka, unfortunately, started for us, and we're going to talk about the lineup for the Gunners here soon, but unfortunately could not continue or pursue with the game. And we did our first mistake in this game by playing Fabio Vieira, that for some reason, again, Mikel Arteta's trying to force him so hard on the team. Listen, you have options. You have Emil Smith-Rowe is 10 times better than Fabio Vieira. He's got the physique, he's got the ability, he's got the finesse, he's got the heart. I don't see Fabio Vieira having any of those. Watch the Arsenal game and see how he always gets the ball and go backward. All his passes, he comes up to pass backward. Nothing is positive from him, even at the end of the game. No urgency whatsoever. He's standing by the corner kick, trying to take a corner. I'm not sure that, again, he fits. We all saw also and heard Paul Merson, the ex-Arsenal player, saying the same thing on English TV and on newspapers. And lots of people now are starting to talk about, why is Mikel Arteta trying to force him? All this buys. Listen, if you buy a player and he's not that great, it's okay. We all make mistakes. But forcing him and trying to show, hey, listen, here's the player I brought, he's good, it doesn't do us any favor. We shouldn't have lost this game. Absolutely. We should not have lost this game. We have the quality, we have the experience, we have the squad, everything checks for us. But him starting David Raya, one mistake David Raya did that caused us 1 goal. And then, you see Fabio Vieira coming in, not doing anything, and the game changed. Right after Bukayo Saka went out, the game changed. We were 1-0 up, and all of a sudden, we get scored on, and we go on to the very next half. They scored on us again. Mikel Arteta didn't change anything in the second half. He just maybe changed players or personnel. Zinchenko was not great on the day. A lot of players were not playing their best. We started also with a different right back. We started with Tomiyasu over Ben White. Now, Tomiyasu last game was playing as a center defender. Now he plays as a right back. Again, confusing. changing players, changing places. Sometimes you succeed, sometimes you don't, and we failed miserably on the night, and we did not win versus Lens. You can hear the commentators say, hey, it's okay, Arsenal, it's all right. You just came. I don't understand why is it all right for Arsenal to lose. Like, it's not all right for any other team to lose, but it's okay. They're building. We've been hearing the same thing for 5 years. This is not a game I want to lose. I want to go to France. I want to keep winning. I'm playing Man City next. I want the winning spirit. I want the consistency. Winning is an attitude. And when you develop winning and keep going, then automatically the next game becomes a habit. But now I lose here, and now I'm going to play Man City on Sunday. It's going to be a very, very tough game for us. Very interesting game, but we'll see. Going out of a loss at the Champions League, they won their game. We lost ours. Hopefully it does not bite us. We need a win against Man City if we're ever going to compete in this Premier League or win the Premier League, to be honest. We have to beat them at least at the Emirates and get a draw there. But losing both games, as always, we see Arsenal losing, almost every single game they play. Mikel Arteta versus Guardiola, except for a Community Shield or whatever, but that's not that important as, Premier League or, Cup games. So hopefully Sunday we prevail and we beat City. Hopefully also we have Bukayo Saka come back, but it's most likely a doubt at this point because Arteta came out and said, if he could not continue when he went out, it was that bad, so it's something big. Scary words from the manager. I didn't want to hear it, but hopefully Bukayo Saka is okay, and hopefully he can come back soon. Martinelli's still out. I saw Thomas Partey on the bench, which was great. I thought he's going to get some minutes. He didn't. However, hopefully we see that Thomas Partey comes back next game, plays in the midfield, and maybe you can take Kai Havertz and play him in Bukayo Saka's role. He wasn't that great in midfield. He wasn't that great at a false number 9 or going through the right side with Martinelli, or left side with Martinelli, I'm sorry. Now you can, put him in Saka's place. We also have Trossard. He came back. He didn't look sharp, but he's back at least, and we can play him against City. Hopefully, I'm mistaken. Hopefully Mikel Arteta is exaggerating, and hopefully Saka is okay, or we hear he's okay tomorrow, and hopefully he starts against City. Come on, you Gunners. The next game is a very, very important game for us. One of the most important fixtures in Arsenal's calendar nowadays is when we play City, especially at the Premier League. If we want to compete and win this title anytime soon, we have to beat City. We have to beat City. What a task on hand for the Gunners. Don't forget, subscribe so we can bring you the next episode after we played Man City. Subscribe, like, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck, your Gunners, and hopefully we get a win on Sunday. Thank you and have a great week.